Electoral Act was skewed to frustrate the opposition political parties. All of it. In fact, I dare say that the government of APC and the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu set up a committee long time before the bill was taken to the National Assembly to fashion an electoral act that would only be to the advantage of the APC. That was what they had done. And this could be proved simply here by saying that by the time the National Assembly أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. It seems that there is no order of protocol for me to address. So just allow me to go straight into what I've been asked to talk on. I'm sorry that the topic given to me, I just saw it. I just saw it here. But it's an interesting topic to which I think I'm in a position to do justice to it. That is positioning the opposition for electoral victory and national unity. Ladies and gentlemen, aspirants on the platform of the NDC, I want to start this topic by asking a question first. Please, those at the back, please kindly, one meeting. The question I would want to ask is that how many electoral constituencies are in the FCT? Does anybody have an idea? Electoral constituencies for the general election in the FCT. If nobody is volunteering to answer this question, I think I would attempt to do it. We have one senatorial seat and 2 federal constituencies in the FCT. One comprises of Amak and Buari. The southern one comprises of Gwagwalada, Abaji, Kuje, which other local government? Kwali. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that I learned as of today that there are about 4 aspirants vying for the Senate. I don't know, the number may increase before tomorrow or next tomorrow. And there are 17 aspirants vying for 1 federal constituency of Amak and Buari. Now, the question is, how many is NDC allowed to field in Amak Buari federal constituency? Only 1. So, out of 17, there would only be 1. It means 16 would be dropped or out of the race. So, may I ask also, what do we expect the 16 that are not on the ballot to do? I'm saying this because you as aspirants have to do justice to yourself. And the party is faced with a Herculean task. What's that task? The entire electoral act was skewed to frustrate the opposition political parties. All of it. In fact, I dare say that the government of APC and the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu set up a committee long time before the bill was taken to the National Assembly to fashion an electoral act that would only be to the advantage of the APC. That was what they had done. And this could be proved simply here by saying that by the time the National Assembly deliberated and finalized on the draft electoral bill, within an hour, the president was signing the bill. Did he study that bill to know? So it means they have already a prepared bill before him. He was only waiting for what the National Assembly will do and he will assign. Now, what were the contents of that bill? $50 million that I was found to be guilty by a court in Kano for an event, direct primaries, that took place in 2011 as a National Secretary of the defunct Congress for Progressive Change. So with this pain and burden on my head, I'm in a position to talk about direct primaries and consensus. Now, in the opinion of the APC and its government, they thought that the opposition will not be in a position to sit down and do consensus. And if they can't do consensus, the only option open to them is to go and do direct primaries. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say, without fear of being contradicted, that no political party or in the opposition can do a direct primaries and come out completely clean. It's not possible, because not that we cannot organize ourselves. What the APC wanted to do, when we go into the issue of direct primaries, they will send the thugs, as they had done in Kano in 2011, where 3 people were killed and about 57 people were hospitalized on that day. That was what led to going to court, and that was how I was fined as National Secretary of the party 150 million naira. So, now, you as aspirants, would you have the patience to accept the verdict of the party when we do a consensus? You can only answer that question to yourself. Is it good for the country, for us to accept the position of the party such that the party becomes on a ballot and represented by a candidate, or we go to court and start wahala among ourselves and the party ends up without a candidate? Now, I also know as a fact that a lot of you seated here were also sponsored by the APC or some other political parties. are supposed to do for them is to say, I know, agree. I know, agree. I know, agree. And then the NDC does not field a candidate. Would that be fair to the people of Nigeria? No. You see this card? This card belonged to an individual. And he met a friend of mine in the bank yesterday. He went to pay for an expression of interest for the presidential slot in the NDC. Maybe he's here, I don't know him. And that, my friend, they drew into a conversation. He was talking to somebody that he wants to pay for the expression of interest to run for the president on the ticket of the NDC. He said, we go teach them lesson that once we get the form to run, they either settle me at my own price or we invite the government to assist us, Dabaru, everything. That is for the presidency. I have his name and telephone here on this card that I've just shown you. So if that is being done for the presidential slot on NDC platform, I also have on authority. Is there anybody from Delta here? Raise your hands. It's okay. You have a problem coming to you. We have an agent of the governor of Delta State. His advisor came into the NDC and bought 5 slots for certain constituencies in Delta. Do you remember Delta in the 2023 election? Over 100 billion naira of Delta's people's money was spent on campaign. So now, maybe there are certain key constituencies that they want to buy expression of interest and nomination forms for, such that either no candidate emerges from those constituencies, or that they spend a lot of money in order to emerge candidates and just go home and sleep, such that we lose those constituencies. If we have this evidence for the presidential slot, and we have this evidence